Hey there, this is Brian Hogg, and this is the first episode of a sort of behind-the-scenes show I'm making about the building of a show I'm making, a sci-fi puppet show called The Pilkington. This is called Building the Pilkington, and this is a gun I've made out of cardboard. At one point I had considered making this show, and I've recorded some other bits for the work I've done so far, where the show would be basically a recap, sort of a best of, making of really awesome bits along the way, which would be sort of, bits you would get in a DVD and sort of a, special features kind of thing. But as sort of a motivating factor to myself, an attempt to sort of get my butt to be a little less proactive, more proactive, less procrastinating. Procrastinating is the word I was forgetting. I'm going to be doing this as I go, sort of, as I mentioned a moment ago, a video blog kind of recording of the process. But first, before I show you any of that stuff, I figured I'd give you sort of a lay of the land. I won't show you the gun again, though I was just tempted to. Basically, it is a sci-fi show called The Pilkington, about the crew of this decommissioned UN peacekeeping vessel, probably about 5,000, 10,000 years in the future. Ship's called The Pilkington. They are well-meaning incompetents running around trying to save the galaxy from various threats that they come across, and they want to make a few dollars so they can pay bills, so they can keep doing their job. The larger part, that's the simple part. The larger part is sort of, there's a lot of cultural commentary, and it's sort of straight up satire, and there's a lot of bit about sort of commercialism, and sort of the main sort of thrust of the show is the way in which ideas today that we think are disposable, that we don't really think of. We think of exhaust, we think of how murders affect people, we think of how these kind of things, but advertising and little ephemeral things stick with us in a longer way, and that's sort of one of the overall jokes, commentary things of the show. For example, Jersey Shore, well, maybe it'll be a religion in 100 years or 1,000 years. Maybe people will fear Snooki dragging them to the depths of hell, and hell will no longer be hell, it will be the Jersey Shore. And people will say, Snooki or Polly drag me to the shore as a way of like, oh no, the devil's going to take me to hell. We don't know. Well, that show will know. That's kind of the point. Anyway, I was working on this for a little while. I had up till about 5 months ago, and then stuff happens. I got other projects that I was working on. I was very busy with daytime work because I'm a programmer by day, and that's where I make most of my money. Stuff. There's a word for it, four-letter word, live. Maybe you've heard of it. If you're not in the basement, I'm sorry. I'm offending people I hope will watch my show and one day support me financially. I'm so sorry. I love you. So I'm getting back to it. Partly because I went to Vegas recently for the New Media Expo, and I went to the International Academy of Web Series Television Awards, which is very inspirational and motivating, and sort of a get off your ass kind of thing. I mean, no one told me that. I told me that. Hi, how you doing? Brian Hogg. I kind of jump around a bit, so if you have an interest in watching this, you better get used to it. I had a bunch of stuff done. It's going to be a 10-episode, mostly-ish, show. So there'll be 10 big episodes. Currently they're about one full television hour, network, not cable, so for like 40 minutes, which will probably be changed. But like 10 sort of tentpole episodes, and then between those I'll have shorter, a couple minute, 3 to 5 minute sort of mini episodes that'll be more character-based as opposed to the plot-based nature of the large ones. So I've got actually fully half of the tentpole episodes written, all of them plotted. I got a lot of concept art. So for example, this is the logo of the show. This is the concept art compared to the proper, finished puppet of Captain Arama, the well-meaning, idiotic captain of the UNS Pilkington, which is decommissioned, and he purchased with the funds from a workers' comp settlement he got shortly after being fired by the UN. And then this is the concept art for a lot of the rest of the crew, sort of cycling through there. And then this is a version of the ship that I'm no longer going to use. I actually... as you can see, it's kind of neat, it's kind of like a whale, it's kind of awkward, kind of like a cruise liner that shouldn't go anywhere. It's made out of cardboard. That's the thing. I'll get into this more in other ones, but the gun, cardboard. Sort of a TARDIS-esque ship from the first episode, one of many, cardboard. So I want that kind of cardboard aesthetic because it looks cool, because it's like homemade, and something I can do really cheaply and easily in a way that looks intentional rather than shitty. Which is kind of thing, because if you try for something you don't quite have the resources to do, it'll look like you're being, well, it looks like you're trying for something you can't do, whereas if I sort of restrict it and say, I'm only going to use cardboard and make these kind of ships, and this will kind of spin like this on camera in front of a green screen, then it looks like you mean to do it. Now, whether people like it or not, that's something else entirely, but at least it looks intentional and will be visually neat. So, a combination of puppets plus cardboard plus a very interesting kind of sci-fi commentary of a specific way that I don't know has really done that much. It'll be a whole new awesome thing. But I built the original, the Pilkington, which looked very cool. The problem was making it out of cardboard. I was trying to make it curved. And I hadn't done that before, so it looked like I was trying for something I couldn't quite do. So I'll probably make it a little more boxy, and it'll make it look a little more intentional, as I just said. So this is the show. So this is the first episode, and this is me rambling for 5 minutes saying, hey, how are you? If you like behind-the-scenes things and watching someone get upset and hopefully not fail, but getting frustrated along the way while making something kind of big that is sort of large, then you should watch. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, Mr. Hogg, I am putting this also on the Pilkington Show channel, and so youtube.com/the Pilkington Show, or a different one if I misremembered the name. And then also, if you are a Blip person, I'll be putting those up on Blip. I'll probably a link here also. So, and in a few episodes, it'll be iTunesable. So yeah, so this is sort of doing this, and by my putting this episode out now, it's sort of a call for myself to arms, as it were. So I'm making a show. It's going to be huge. It's going to be epic. It's going to be unreasonably grand. And I hope I can accomplish it. And this is either the record of my ascending to massive heights of success creatively, or a catalog of a Sisyphean defeat and destruction that will also be fun to watch, but for entirely different reasons. I remembered the other thing I was going to say. I'm trying to emote. At one of the panels, this is not what I meant to say, but when I was at the New Media Expo, one of the people, I believe it was whoischick.com. Well, Chick is the show, and the domain is whoischick, and I cannot remember the lady's name, but she was suggesting if you're doing something on camera to over-emote to a point where you feel like you look ridiculous, and then you probably look okay. So I'm trying that this time. Well, that was a little unnecessary. But in future episodes, I will have time-lapse videos of me building an entire puppet from start to scratch and building the ships and stuff. So it'll be that kind of thing. So if you like that kind of creative stuff, then come on back. Also, if you're Kevin Smith, call me or email me. Email address, because I want you to be on my show.